Hello, I'm Alexander, and today we'll talk about Moondrop Blessing2 hybrid in-ear monitors and my 1-year-long experience with this pair. This is the pair that I bought with my own money, no one paid me to make this review, I don't offer any specific opinions, and all thoughts expressed in this review are my own. Moondrop is a well-known company to people in the headphone hobby, and Blessing2 and Blessing2 Dusk are quite iconic. The IEM features one dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures, resin shells with faceplates made out of steel and detachable cable. But we will start with the unboxing. The Blessing2 comes in a medium-sized box with a sleeve. There is yet another waifu on the front sleeve and a list of technical specifications on the back of the sleeve. But I lost the sleeve, so no more waifu for me. Inside the sleeve there is a grey box. In the box we have Moondrop Blessing2 in-ear monitors, detachable cable, 6 pairs of silicone ear tips, a nice storage case, airplane adapter, user manual, and a warranty card. The impedance of Blessing2 is 22 ohms and the sensitivity is 117 dB. The shells of Blessing2 have 2 parts that are glued together. The shelf itself is made from a medical-grade transparent resin, and the faceplate, which is made from CNC machined steel. The left faceplate is clean and the right faceplate has the model name engraving. There also have been a few variations of the faceplates, and in addition at some point Moondrop was offering a custom engraving too. Yet I like the default design the most. The shells are quite large and hefty, the shell has a slightly longer and thick nozzle with no mesh at the end. Instead there are 3 sound bores present. The nozzle diameter is 6 mm. As there is no mesh at the end of the nozzle, you need to be careful and clean your ear tips regularly. At some point, based on the community feedback regarding the absence of the protective mesh, the Moondrop put up for sale a set of filters. You could buy this set and glue the filter to the end of the nozzle yourself. I didn't bother with the filter kit, as I don't think gluing a filter at the end of the nozzle could substitute the metal mesh. And in addition, the absence of the metal mesh didn't bother me. The shells also have one vent hole which is located on the narrow part of the faceplate, and I think this was a smart solution as it blends with the faceplate design well. The IEMs use 2-pin connectors that are conveniently located on top of the IEM, and overall I like the build and design, and I think steel faceplates look gorgeous with the transparent shells. The cable that comes with this IEM is pretty basic and it can't hold a candle to the IEM. It's 1.2 meters long with plastic connectors on both sides, an alloy splitter and no chin slider. The cable feels cheap, is a bit microphonic and is very prone to tangling. This is a $320 IEM, and I think it's a shame to include such cable in the package. So that's why I strongly recommend changing the stock cable. Myself, I went with the Tripovine Zoni 16 core silver plated cable. Talking about fit and comfort, it's where the Blessing2 shines in my case. The fit and comfort of an IEM is still a very subjective thing, but I tested dozens of IEMs in the last few years and finally concluded that to achieve a good fit and seal in my ears, the IEM should have long nozzles. And this is exactly the case with Blessing2. When I received this pair, I was able to instantly secure a good fit and seal with the stock ear tips. In my case, the fit and comfort is outstanding and the Blessing2 feels more like a semi-custom IEM in my ears rather than an IEM with a generic fit. In addition, it provides a fantastic passive sound isolation in my case, which helps me to keep the volume lower than with some other my IEMs. Blessing2 is quite hefty, but the weight is evenly distributed, so I am experiencing no discomfort even during long listening sessions. But the large shell size and long thick nozzle might not suit everyone's ears. Now let's talk about the sound. As always, all sound impressions on my channel are completely subjective. You should take them with a grain of salt. Blessing 2 has both low impedance and high sensitivity, and as a result you can drive it with ease with many portable sources. My phone is usually my first go-to device when I start the IEM evaluation, and it had no problems providing enough power to drive Blessing 2. Pairing this IEM with better sources might provide sound quality improvement and make this pair shine even more, as it scales quite well. Blessing 2 has a linear bass which a lot of people will appreciate. What I like about the bass here is the fact it's got a good body, speed and impact. The sub-bass and mid-bass are almost equal in quantity with no clear separation between them. While some other models on the market aim for a more prominent sub-bass and more neutral mid-bass, I like the Blessing 2 approach much better. The bass is not bloated and it has a good amount of details. Another good aspect is that there is no bass bleed into mids. So even on bottom and heavy tracks the bass doesn't overwhelm the mid-range. In addition, the bass here is tangible and I can feel the displaced air, and this is something that a lot of IEMs on the market don't have. The Blessing 2 mid-range is linear, but it's still a bit recessed to a certain degree, so it occasionally takes a back seat. The timbre is accurate and there's enough clarity and energy, but it is still a bit in the background. I found the mid-range very enjoyable and both instruments and vocals sounded correct to me. However, I need to admit that sometimes the mid-range feels distant, and also there was a very rare upper mid-range glare on some recordings. The electric guitars sound good though, and the vocals sound clear, rich and full. While Blessing 2 is not as mid-centric IEM as I'd like it to be, the mid-range sounds very natural and has excellent clarity. It excels with many genres of music and it especially shines with instrumental music. The treble of Blessing 2 is surprisingly detailed and energetic. While it lacks some air, it reveals many details and nuances in the recordings. At the same time, it's quite linear and smooth. There are no harsh peaks here either. I would call the treble presentation open, and in my case it was never harsh or intrusive. However, if you are very sensitive to treble, it can still bother you a bit. The Blessing 2 soundstage is surprisingly large for an IEM, and I was pleasantly surprised when I first tried it on. The soundstage feels more like the soundstage of a full-size pair of headphones. I'm not sure what's exactly the magic here, but the soundstage is quite wide, deep and tall as well. Instruments hold their particular places in space well, and the soundstage never feels compressed or congested. The imaging is excellent, the separation of instruments is great, and the detail retrieval is good as well. You can easily identify what instruments are playing in the background, and the whole presentation feels very coherent. As for detail retrieval, Blessing 2 is still one of the best IEMs in the sub $500 price bracket. And of course, we'll talk a bit about the comparisons. Before getting Blessing 2, I also compared it with Blessing 2 Dusk. In my opinion, the Dusk edition, which is a collaboration between Chronicle and Moondrop, will be more appealing to those who need more bass and a slightly smoother upper mid-range. This translates into a more engaging and fun tuning. I prefer the Blessing 2, as to me it sounds more neutral, open and detailed. In addition, when needed, I can use a parametric EQ profile that brings my Blessing 2 quite close to the Blessing 2 Dusk. But what about Blessing 3, you may ask? The newer is not always better, and this is my personal experience with Blessing 3. First of all, the configuration-wise, Blessing 3 is different. It's 2 dynamic drivers and 4 balanced armatures, as opposed to 1 dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures in Blessing 2. This means that we have a better cost per driver with Blessing 3, but this also means a different tuning. Blessing 3 has a better treble extension, which is more refined and detailed. but the mid bass is linear compared to the Blessing 2, and I didn't like that. As a result, the sound profile of Blessing 3 lies somewhere in between Blessing 2 and Blessing 2 Dusk. That being said, I prefer the sound profile of Blessing 2. If you already own Blessing 2 or Blessing 2 Dusk, I don't see any reason for upgrading to Blessing 3, especially considering it's more a side grade than an upgrade. But if you have been saving to get Blessing 2, I would consider giving all three models a listen first. This will help you determine which sound profile you like the most. At the time of making this review, the Blessing 3 Dusk has yet to be announced, so all we have are rumors. What I would personally see in Blessing 3 Dusk is a Blessing 3 with a better mid-bass presentation that has more impact and authority. Let's summarize. So what do I like about my Blessing 2? It has a good design and build, outstanding fit and comfort, neutral sound signature, great technical abilities and resolution, full-bodied and linear bass response, excellent imaging and a fantastic soundstage. The IEMs come with an excellent storage case that can easily hold the IEMs, spare cable and even a portable DAC amp. The IEM can also scale with better sources, and the price to performance ratio is very good, even in 2024. What I don't like: stock cable feels cheap, you can't order the stock ear tips separately for some reason, and there is an occasional upper mid-range glare. Moondrop has released several very interesting and well-tuned IEMs in the past years. Yet I think none came close to the Blessing 2, besides maybe variations, though it offers a slightly different sound profile at a much higher cost. I've been using my pair of Blessing 2 for over a year now, and I can understand why it gained such a massive following. Yes, it's not cheap, but it brings a lot to the table for its price, and I still consider it among the best IEMs that you can get under $500 in 2024. I'm also having trouble upgrading from it, as no other IEM under $500 that I have tried so far sounded like an upgrade to me, both sound profile and comfort-wise. So I guess I will stick to my Blessing 2 for the time being. And that concludes my review for today. If you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for future updates. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, goodbye.